Do you have an iPhone in your hand right now? Have you ever thought about the crazy technology that goes into making your iPhone at Apple's factories? A foamed sheet of glass and an aluminum body, which is an improvement on our original design, make up a unique shape. By the end of 2020, Apple had a net worth of $65.34 billion. And it wouldn't be wrong to say that, with net sales of $365.82 billion in 2021, it is conveniently one of the largest rivals in the technology market. Whenever it comes to technology, Apple is thought of as a tycoon. But how many of you have thought about the iPhone you're holding? Did you ever wonder how it is manufactured? How long does it take? Where did they make it? Where did the parts get put together? Where do the parts for it come from? We'll tell you everything you need to know about what happens inside the Apple's iPhone factory. So make sure you watch all the way till the end of the video to learn a variety of exciting facts and things about your iPhone that you didn't even know. To begin, why is it that everybody's first choice mobile phone is an iPhone? And why does Apple dominate the market? The explanation lies in the device's incredible longevity as well as its high build quality, which includes a solid core, regular upgrades that make the operating system feel as up to date as a brand new iPhone, and undoubtedly outstanding performance. The result of all of this is a phone that is incredibly stunning, and judging by the demand, quite popular. Its name is the iPhone. What we mean is that there is a logic behind why so many individuals are willing to spend hundreds or even thousands of dollars only to acquire the most recent version of the iPhone. In point of fact, many individuals are looking towards the following release that will be made by the company, and each time it is a smashing success. If you have ever purchased an Apple product, at some point during the process of disposing of the packaging, you may have come across a notation that states this particular Apple product has been designed in the state of California. But here's the catch. Designing it isn't the only thing that's required to bring an iPhone to reality in the manufacturing process. To make a long story shorter and easier to understand, there are two main ideas: putting things together and making things. Apple doesn't make the processors as well as other key parts of the iPhone like its very close competitor Samsung does. Instead, it hires other companies to do such a work. About 200 companies make the parts that an iPhone needs. These spare components consist of memory chips, CPUs, glass screen interfaces, castings and camera lenses, among other things. And where are these companies? Numerous companies in South Korea, Taiwan, China, Japan, Germany, the United States, India, and other places are chosen to make the parts that go into an iPhone. Wistron, which makes printed circuit boards, and Luxshare, which makes AirPods, are two of these companies. Enjoying it so far? Why not hit that subscribe button and press the bell icon for notifications so that you never miss any of our future uploaded videos. If you did, then let's get back to the video. Now, making the replacement parts is one thing, but putting them together to make one fantastic iPhone that the user will use for who knows how long is something else. Where does the process of putting things together happen? Most of the time, Apple's headquarters are in East or Southeast Asia, where it's easier to get hired and also people are more eager for work. The price of labor is not that high, as well as the quality of labor is also insanely high. So this is a win-win situation for Apple. And these parts of an iPhone are usually put together and put in order in Southeast Asian countries. Foxconn and Pegatron are two of the most important companies that make things for Apple. Foxconn is pretty much Apple's biggest manufacturing company, and it makes and ships spare parts on a huge scale in China. The iPhone City is another name for the Foxconn factory, which is 2.2 million square miles big. And because of the recent controversy surrounding Apple's reputation, we are particularly interested in the individuals who construct Apple's intricate devices by hand, one little component at a time. It is a very complicated process as a whole, but if you look at the people, you'll see that most of them are 17 or 18-year-old teens from the country who come from some very poor homes. In fact, when this factory opened in 2010, the main reason for doing so was to supply Apple with spare parts as well as the parts needed to make an iPhone. The provincial government agreed to this big step and gave the iPhone City a healthy fund of about $600 billion. At least 250,000 people work there, And sometimes an employee's job can be as simple and boring as messing a certain part of a mobile device or putting a special part in the back of a phone. No matter what it is, the fact that Foxconn's iPhone City in China makes 500,000 iPhones every single day says a lot about how well it works and how good the feedback is. There have been 94 production lines, and each worker works a 12-hour shift. When the manufacturing and putting together process is done, the item is cautiously placed on top of a clear fireboard and moved to the shipping trucks, which is waiting outside the factory. After they went through the gate, the area where things were made and put together was about 100 yards away. The next place they go to is the place in which the iPhones are made. The custom facility gives Apple a little bit of freedom and ease when it comes to taxes. The phones are then given out to the various affiliates. The phones are then sold to consumers and users in China by these affiliates. In fact, the Chinese market gets the newest products from Apple before any other market. The specially made facility in China sends these iPhones to companies that work with Apple, and that's where the whole chain starts. Years back, personal computers were shipped from China to the United States on ships. But because mobile phones are so small, light, and portable, it's easier to ship and move a lot of them at once. Even worse, ships are no longer needed. Planes are a good way to ship a lot of iPhones because they are both cheap and good for the environment. Because everyone is aware of how often it is for iPhone screens to shatter. A single trip is easily capable of transporting more than 150,000 iPhones, all of which are securely stored inside the aluminum canister of the aircraft. Because of this, the iPhones are handled with additional care and kindness. Over the last few years, China's airports have grown a lot, which is great for Apple exporters and carriers. After getting back up to speed and buckling up, these planes usually go to Alaska to refuel and charge. The next place these planes will go is Louisville, Kentucky. There, experts and designers will take one last look at the iPhones and redirect them to their final destinations. A Chinese iPhone user pays significantly more than someone who doesn't live in China. This is because the iPhone is only sold in China. The Chinese currency fluctuates and the phone is rare. For instance, a 32GB Apple iPhone 7 cost roughly $776 there at the Apple Store in Shanghai. But the same iPhone easily costs $649 in New York. Do you now understand what we mean when we say that Chinese consumers have to pay a lot much more than American consumers? The Foxconn plant in China has been extremely helpful for the local people as well as its workers. New roads, bridges, and other facilities have been built to help the workers and keep the people in the area happy. This not only makes the workers' lives better, but it also makes the area look better and is good for Apple's marketing. As we said before, the name of the factory is iPhone City, and it's like a real city, with about 10 million people living there, most of whom are workers. They have also made housing programs that work well and are very comfortable. The workers reside in buildings that have dorms for them to live in. Also, each building is 10 to 12 stories tall, and there is a big market right outside the iPhone City. There are a lot of food stands and clothing stores there, and people find it to be a very busy and good place to do business. Every item can be found outside of the iPhone City, whether that's clothes, books, food, or something else. Foxconn is the most well-known company in China because it is the country's largest private employer, with 1.3 million workers. But even though Foxconn is well-known, successful, and has good facilities, it has had to deal with backlash more than once because of claims of bad working conditions, abuse of employees, and harsh punishments for workers. As we said before, the name of the factory is iPhone City, and it's like a real city, with about 10 million people living there, most of whom are workers. They have also made housing programs that work well and are very comfortable. The workers reside in buildings that have dorms for them to live in. Also, each building is 10 to 12 stories tall, and there is a big market right outside the iPhone City. There are a lot of food stands and clothing stores there, and people find it to be a very busy and good place to do business. Foxconn is the most well-known company in China because it is the country's largest private employer, with 1.3 million workers. Not to mention, with these advancements in production on iPhone, the Apple takes the highest stake in the mobile market. Okay folks, this is the end of the video for today. If you liked it, click the like and subscribe buttons. Also, an absolutely important question. Do you have an iPhone at the moment? And if you have, which model do you own? Are you happy with how well the phone works? Tell us what you think in the section below for comments. As well as if you've got any questions, ideas, or requests, put them all in the comments. We'll have another video for you soon. Check out some of our other videos until then.